In 2022, Apple updated its iPad Pros with the M2 CPU, the next iteration of its custom-designed mobile chip. While it's true that the newest M2 iPad Pro is more powerful than ever before, for the vast majority of users, making the jump won't be worth the cost. Today, we'll talk about the new M2 iPad Pro 2022, why you should avoid an upgrade. M1 is powerful enough. First of all, when Apple upgraded the iPad Pro's processor from the A12Z Bionic to the M1 in 2021, it saw a significant performance gain. An iPad Pro with the M1 chip was up to 45% quicker than its predecessor.
There's no doubt about that!
The reason being the M1 packs a laptop-level chipset into a tablet form factor. iPad Pro and iPad Air with the M1 chip can run multiple applications simultaneously smoothly. They can also run even the most resource-intensive games without breaking a sweat, and render video far more quickly than most laptops. Getting to M1 was a huge step forward, but M2 is similar to M1. According to Apple, M2 features an 8-core CPU up to 15% faster than M1, with advancements in both performance and efficiency cores. This is amazing, however. The M1 iPad Pro is powerful enough for most people, and there's really no reason to upgrade to M2. Most apps won't benefit off increased performance. Now, remember that most App Store programs are optimized for iPads and iPhones with significantly less processing power than the M2. So, you shouldn't expect a huge speed boost just because you use a supercomputer on a simple program. However, when it comes to processing power-intensive activities like video rendering and machine learning, the M2 iPad Pro will occasionally outperform the M1 iPad and earlier generations. According to Apple, the M2 iPad Pro's neural engine is capable of 40% more operations per second than the Zeros. This means that programs like Adobe Photoshop and Octane X, which rely on AI-based processing, will run much more efficiently. Intense app development, 4K video editing, or producing 3D graphics could all benefit from the speed gain that the M2 iPad Pro provides. Everyone else, though, should definitely hold off on an upgrade for the time being. Performance aside, the design is the same on the previous model, which is a bit of an upset. We'll go into that in a moment, so stay tuned.
Come, there's more.
Still doesn't have an OLED screen. When it comes to interior features, the M2 iPad Pro is more powerful than its predecessor, but the screen remains unchanged. We're not saying the screen is subpar. The Liquid Retina XDR display on the 12.9-inch M2 iPad Pro already boasts a high-quality display, and is capable of a stunning 1600 nits of peak brightness, and can be increased to a whopping 120 Hz with the help of Pro Motion. The M2 iPad Pro's mini LED screen is undoubtedly eye-catching, but it's still an LCD. LCDs just can't compete with OLEDs in terms of delivering perfect blacks and high contrast ratios. We were hoping Apple would give us this update on the M2 iPad Pro, but it wasn't present. For the price, it's demanding it would have been acceptable if they added it. We'll talk more on the price of the M2 iPad Pro and why we think it's not worth it. You should subscribe to our channel and check out our reviews on other tech devices and how the M2 iPad Pro price compares to them.
Don't hold back.
No major redesign. With regards to design, Apple did not make any significant changes to the M2 iPad Pro. If you were anticipating Apple would completely reimagine the iPad with the M2 iPad Pro, you were likely left feeling disappointed. The 2022 M2 iPad Pro maintains the same design and build quality as the 2018 model. While the M2 iPad Pro boasts a sleek, contemporary appearance and thin borders, it is not an all-screen tablet. Many anticipated Apple to take an even more radical step ahead with the M2 iPad Pro by incorporating a dynamic island or notch in the display in place of the traditional home button, much like the iPhone 14 Pro. Not a single bit of that made it to us. The iPad Pro is falling behind the regular iPads in several respects. A little too expensive. Okay, we'll just call it. The M2 iPad Pro is a tad bit expensive. Let's have our discussion centered on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, Apple's top-of-the-line tablet, which features a mini LED display. Buying one will set you back a minimum of $1,099, while the cellular variant begins at $1,299. That's a lot of money for a tablet, especially when you could get the fantastic M2-powered MacBook Air for the same amount. Without any 5G extras, the total cost is a wallet-busting $1,577. It's disappointing that Apple didn't include any significant hardware updates to help explain the price increase. You must honestly ask yourself whether or not the additional M2 horsepower is worth it, or whether or not the stylus hovering capability will increase your productivity. Tell us what you think in the comment section. We would love to hear from you. Although the M2 iPad Pro is fast and packs more power than ever into an iPad, it is still not a necessary purchase for most iPad owners. Only a small subset of consumers will benefit from the improved performance. Nonetheless, the M2 iPad Pro could be worthwhile if you're a power user who frequently employs your iPad for tasks like rendering videos and 3D graphics. Now, although the changes on the M2 iPad Pro were minimal, there are a few notable ones, and we'll bring you the details on our next feature. New M2 iPad Pro 2022, absolute new changes, so make sure you watch that too.